What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And UFC Tampa is the final fight card of the year. The UFC wraps its schedule up in 2024 with a fight night event in Tampa headlined by Joaquin, Buckley versus Colby, Covington, and it is actually a pretty underrated card in my opinion. The main event is great, high stakes in the welterweight division, and the rest of the card, whilst not high on major name value, has a few prospects. It's got just a bunch of fun fights, and yeah, not really any skips apart from women's MMA, which is going to be a given for any fight card with those fights on there. But the whole card, pretty much all the men's fights carry some sort of intrigue. I do think they're all going to be fun fights. There's nothing that I look at and say, oh, this is going to fucking suck. There's no fat heavyweights. There's no shitty quality fights in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the card. I'll be live streaming it on Sunday in Australia / Saturday in America. So if you want, tune into a Fight Companion. I actually read people's chats and you don't have to donate money to get your messages read. It's pretty cool. You should try it out. But anyway, let's start off and we're going to talk about the first fight of the night, go all the way to the main event. But anyway, let's get underway talking about the prelim opener. So the first fight on the card is Josephine Knutsson versus Piera Rodriguez. I'm going to be going with Knutsson. She's actually not bad as a female fighter. She throws punches and kicks with talent. Like she has technique. Now she's got no power. I would equate her to like the female Guram Kutateladze, because they do train together in that gym in Sweden, which I think Hamza used to train out before he dipped and sold out to the to Abu Dhabi. But yeah, or I don't know if he still trains there. Maybe he does. I'm not sure. But he fights out of Abu Dhabi, whatever. But Knutsson, she fights very similarly to Guram in terms of just mashes technique, like button masher, fucking technique combo spammer with like no power, but just does everything technically. So yeah, she should win. Rodriguez isn't very good. I don't know, but you could go towards picking the more masculine looking one, which I would lean towards being Rodriguez, but at the end of the day, it's women's MMA. I'll go with Knutsson. She's undefeated. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got a fight in the bantamweight division between Davy Grant and Ramon Taveras. It's spelt like Taveras, I don't know why, but I'm going to be picking him to beat Davy Grant. Now, the initial lean was, oh, Davy Grant should win. Taveras isn't very good. He arguably got a robbery decision against Surrey City back in January. He hasn't fought since. And Surrey City just won a robbery decision against Garrett Armfield. So it's not aging the best, but I also don't like picking 38-year-olds or whatever to win unless they've proven to be like top-level fighters, you know? Davy Grant is solid, but also the reason why I'm going to be picking Taveras by split decision is because he won a split decision robbery in his last fight, and Davy Grant has a habit of losing a bunch of split decision robberies. Like, he arguably beat Daniel Marcos, he arguably beat Adrian Yanez, both of whom are fighting above these guys on the card, and he arguably should have beat both of them. He KO'd Jonathan Martinez, so Davy Grant is dangerous. I think that's actually his fighter nickname. But I think like he was kind of looking shit against the Sun Sao until he got a random comeback inverted triangle, which was good. But he's been out for a hot minute. He hasn't fought in a while. I think he had like a back surgery or something, which is just not promising. And Taveras is more aggressive, so I'm gonna pick him to win a probably kind of bullshit decision based off like looking like he's throwing the harder shots and looking like he's doing more. And I think he'll stay a bit more active, get in the face of Davy Grant and kind of pressure him a little bit. We'll see what happens though. Good fight, close matchup, hard to pick. But anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Up another women's MMA fight. I appreciate that they're getting them out of the way. We got 2 of them on the card, and they're getting them out of the way within the first 3 fights. Honestly, put this as the second fight of the card, and then we can just have a nice little 1 hour sleep in for those who, if it starts early for you, or you can finish off your nightly plans before you come home and watch UFC, you know, that's what you do. But anyway, it's all good. It's at least they're not putting this as like the fucking main card opener, which we previously had Dern and Rebus, which I can appreciate some Mackenzie Dern. But I'm gonna be picking Miranda Maverick. I think she's good as a female fighter. Not amazing, but good. And good is enough to pick you against most people, because most of them aren't good. And it's crazy to say because they're professional fighters, but Jamie Lynn Horth is not good. She's just a masculine-looking woman with some size to her, which, to be fair, has worked out for like 90% of the female roster. But I think Maverick's skillful in some aspects, so I'll pick her to win. She's got takedowns, she's got wrestling, and Horth's just never looked good. She lost to Veronica Hardy. And if you're the masculine-looking woman and you lose to Veronica Hardy, who is one of the most feminine, beautiful women on the roster, call me. then I'm not going to be picking you to beat anyone actually decent. But anyway, let's move on though. Well done, Dan Hardy. You've done well for yourself, mate. Fucking, he's done a 30-minute war room breakdown on his bedroom session with Veronica Hardy. It's crazy work. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Next up is one of the more intriguing fights on the card in my opinion, and it's a tough spot for Miles Johns because he's gone from a co-main event against Cody Garbrandt in a fight with a big name former champion who he could have beaten because Garbrandt's got no chin, to now fighting fucking Brazilian prospect, undefeated or maybe one loss I think he's got, coming off a nasty submission win in his debut against Muhammad Naimov, who's actually a good fighter at featherweight. This fight is taking place at featherweight too, so Johns is not a featherweight. I think Lima's going to be considerate. I think Lima said he wants to move down to bantamweight too, but I guess the short notice aspect of it, so maybe you can say Johns had a fight camp, but his fight camp was interrupted and he didn't get this booked immediately, so it's kind of like he didn't get a fight with Cody Garbrandt. He probably chilled for a couple of weeks and then go, okay, you want to fight again? Probably let his weight balloon back up a bit, so I understand why it's at featherweight. I'm picking Lima. Lima's very good. I think Naimov is actually a good fighter. Naimov's beaten lightweights. Like, Naimov chins Jamie Mullarkey, who I know is not good, but, like, at least you're chinning lightweights. Like, that's impressive. And Johns, I think, sucks. Like, he went to a decision, a sloppy fucking big meaty hooks decision against Douglas Silva de Andrade, where they just threw arm punches at each other and did nothing. And the UFC posted the highlights of them swinging, like, these boys were swinging. And I'm like, these boys were not landing. It was just low quality fighting. Miles Johns, I don't think is very good. He beat Cody Gibson, I believe. I want to say Cody Gibson he beat? Yeah. Cody Gibson sucks. But he's just strong as a little nugget, but I don't think he can be a nugget against Lima. Lima's actually talented, not just a range merchant like Cody Gibson. Who's got the frame of a lightweight at bantamweight because he's fucking anorexic. But yeah, I'll be picking Lima. I think he's talented. If we get a fraud check here, it'll be pretty disappointing because we need some prospects, especially if Lima said he's going down to either featherweight or bantamweight. Honestly, both of them kind of need prospects. So if Lima can win here, pick a division. If he looks real good here, then I'd like him to stay at featherweight, honestly. But if he wants to go down, that's fine too. But yeah, I'll pick Lima by submission after Johns puts up a fight in round one and kind of puts some pressure on him, and then Lima actually proves to be talented and wins. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got the battle of the fucking anorexics here, the battle of the aliens. Sean Woodson, literally looking like a fucking inflatable car balloon thingy that waves outside the car sales dealership. And then we got Fernando Padilla. Why is this guy looking so mischievous for? Like, what are you grinning at me for, buddy? Pipe, like, settle down. Why are you looking at me like that? Like, what's this guy up to? Looking like he's about to steal something. Like, I don't know what Padilla's doing. But anyway, I'm going to actually pick him to win, and this is going to be my like major kind of dog of the week, I guess, because I've been getting too much shit for never picking any underdogs, because I hate to say it, I'm trying to be right, not pick underdogs. Like, if there's no underdogs on the card who I think are going to win, then I'm sorry, I'm not picking fucking underdogs. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pick this plus 300 underdog just for the sake of it. Like, fuck off. But I actually will pick Padilla. This could end up being a dumb pick. And there aren't that many fights that people are picking differently on this card from what I know. Like, I feel like it's this fight. It's the Daniel Marcos, Adrian Yanez fight's got a bit of differential. The Taveras, Davey Grant fight's a bit 50-50. And then the Cubs, Swanson, Billy Quarantillo fight. Those are like the fights on this card that I'm noticing a lot of kind of split amongst the YouTube predictions. But I will be going with Fernando Padilla. He's got the finishing upside. And something tells me, I know he lost to Kyle Nelson, but Nelson's actually not bad. And Sean Woodson also got subbed by Caceres, who, yes, Padilla finished. I know that doesn't mean anything, because MMA math will prove to Woodson's going to beat him, and it's going to be one of those trifectas of the MMA math never working. But I like Padilla's finishing potential. He's coming off submission win in his last fight against Luis Porjuelo, some Peruvian dude who was actually like decent boxer apparently. I think he can do well here against Woodson. Woodson doesn't often put a pace on people, and yes, he's fought the better level of opposition. He's fought Charles Jourdain, he's fought Alex Caceres, he's fought these guys, but like he looked shit against Saldana, and Saldana was a guy who could kind of match his frame, and wasn't even. Obviously, Woodson's going to have a reach advantage over everyone. He's a fucking alien. Woodson's got a longer reach than probably some fucking light heavyweights, to be honest. But Saldana was cracking him, put him down twice, and then kneed him in the head while he was on the ground, costing him a finish. So I think I like Padilla's finishing upside, and Woodson does a whole bunch of flashy shit. Looks like he's like thinks he's him and waving his hands around, doing a bunch of feint maxing, and then he just fucking doesn't really do anything past round 1 and just sits behind a jab. And if you can be aggressive enough, I feel like you can win. Now, I am worried here that Woodson wins like a robbery decision, because he has a good style to win robbery decisions, which is why I was tempted to pick him. But then I also said I got to pick at least one underdog on the card. So yeah, I like Padilla's finishing upside. He's got submissions too. And yeah, he can crack. And if he gets aggressive, I like him to do more damage here and do better. So I'm going to be picking... I also think like that Nelson fight could have gone to Padilla as well. But I'm going to go with Padilla. I've got a feeling he can get something done here. And even though people have been calling for Woodson to get a ranked opponent despite him looking mid in like all of his fights, I think this is going to be when the run finally comes to an end. And this mischievous looking Mexican is going to get the win here by submission, I'll say, after dropping him. Because Woodson, you can't be built like that and have a good chin. Like, he's going to get chinned at some point. I think he gets dropped here and then shoots in for the shitty takedown and gets darsed or anaconda or something. That's my prediction. Let's move on though to the next fight. Joel Alvarez versus Jakar Klose up next. Joel Alvarez is one of my guys. I'm picking him to win here by finish. I'm not going out on a limb by saying this. Like, he's a big favourite. Everyone's picking him. I think he's real good, bro. I think this dude's, like, could be top 5 with the right opponent. Like, I don't think it's a crazy take to say he beats current Justin Gaethje. If you think it is a crazy take, I think you need to really just stop thinking about, but Gaethje's ranked highly, and think about, hang on, Gaethje's kind of fucking mid. So yeah, I think on the right day against the right opponent, Alvarez is like a top 6 or 7 lightweight, to be honest. I think he's going to smoke Jakar Klose here. Finished him within 2 rounds, I believe, maybe 3rd round, I don't know. But Jakar Klose has been chinned before by Beneil Dariush. I'm going to tell you something crazy. This dude's better on the feet than Beneil Dariush. Jakar Klose beats Beneil Dariush right now. Not Jakar Klose, he lost to him. Alvarez beats Beneil Dariush right now. Maybe he gets taken down, but his defensive wrestling looked decent against Brenner in his last fight, and Brenner's good. Brenner beat Garam. Brenner's a bit sloppy. He had a competitive back and forth fight with Orelbai. He made Orelbai look mid before Rebecca did. I'm going to just say that. People saying like, Orelbai fraud checked. Like, Orelbai looked mid before Rebecca fought him. Like, Orelbai looked mid against Brenner. Brenner made him struggle, took him to a decision. Alright? Alvarez killed Brenner. Like, didn't get touched by him, basically. He got kicked in the leg a few times and just whooped his ass and finished him. And Brenner's the guy who hasn't been finished before. I think Alvarez is legit. He's top 10 at least. I think if he wins this fight. He said he wants to go up to welterweight. Probably better for him, honestly. Get a bit stronger in your base. Stand your base. Get the defensive wrestling, though, because the welterweights wrestle. There's a lot more wrestlers. Like, I think he beats Dan Hooker right now. But at welterweight, if you give him most of the top 5, or top 10, they're gonna all wrestle him. But like, this dude's a competitive fight with pretty much anyone in the top, like, from the 5 to 15 range. He's either winning or having a close fight with anyone at lightweight or welterweight, in my opinion. Jakar Klose is kind of mid. He went to a decision and looked mid against Joaquin Silva, was in an armbar against Joe Selecki. And he's calling out on the mic saying, like, I want the easiest fights. Like, give me easy fights. I don't care about rankings. I just want to get wins for cash against no names. But, like, that's not the right attitude to have, bro. Like, Alvarez is hungry. He's going to win this fight comfortably, in my opinion. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Michael Johnson versus Ottoman Azaitar. Fucking Unk of a matchup right here. Unk versus just shit fighter in general. I'm going to pick Unk, who's actually not bad. Like, MJ is actually solid. I'm not talking about Michael Jackson. He's solid too, I guess. But Michael Johnson, solid. Lots of MJs. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Michael Johnson. Fucking common initials right there. But I think Ottoman Azaitar sucks. This guy fucking sucks. It's like when Dana White was like, Kimbo Slate, everyone thought he was going to viciously knock him out, but Kimbo Slate sucks. Ottoman Azaitar sucks, I'm here to tell you. This dude, fucking potato smuggler, roid cheat, not even good. Imagine being on roids and still being shit. Got a bag of something smuggled to him on Fight Island, said it was potatoes. Someone fucking went through his roof or some shit and dropped him off a bag of potatoes, supposedly. Sure, buddy. But, like, Francisco Prado killed him. Frevola killed him. Frevola's proven to be fucking mid as shit, to be honest. Like, he murked this dude, and he got slept in a minute and a half by BSD. Frevola's kind of mid, right? And Frevola slept Ottoman in round 1. Prado killed him as well. I think he sucks. I think he's coming back for paychecks. Him and his brother are legitimately criminals. No, this isn't even alleged. Like, they've commit crimes. That's why they have, like, a following, I guess. Because they're just... I think his name is, like, the fucking terrorists. I don't know. Like, I swear they've got criminal backgrounds, the Azaitar brothers. They both suck. they're shit, but they've got connections and they're in gangs or something. I don't know. Fucking part of Al Qaeda, I'm not sure. But MJ should win by finish. I think he's decent. Ottoman Azaitar has a bit of power, but he's beaten no one good. So I'm going to pick an MJ. If you want to go with finishing potential upside for Azaitar, maybe if he catches him. But I don't think MJ is that, like, he's chinny, but he's losing to Diego Ferreira. He's losing to fucking these guys here. Like, he's not losing to complete bums for the most part, I guess. I think he's above Azaitar's level. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Navajo Sterling versus Tokkos. I don't even need to spend time on this one. Navajo Sterling's going to KO him in like the first 2 rounds. Tokkos sucks. Got slept by Zhang Mingyang. Got subbed by Umar Sy. This dude is the fucking UFC light heavyweight prospect spawn point. Like, this is the first fight on your fucking UFC part, like UFC 5 career mode pathway to the belt, bro. Like, this is your UFC debut for like everyone good. Mingyang KO'd him on road to UFC. Umar Sy beat him in his debut. Sterling, like, this is the debut test. Like, keep this dude around. He's just going to keep getting smoked. Sterling should win. I don't know how good he is. He might be mid, but he'll beat Tokkos. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, Daniel Marcos versus Adrian Yanez. I'd say Yanez seems like the dog of the week for a lot of people because I think everyone thinks this guy's better than he is. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't. This guy's mid, bro. Like, he's not good. Like, he's getting fucking fraud checked by whoever it was in the Apex. Like, that guy that just started jabbing him up. Forget who it was. I can't be fucked looking it up. But, like, he looked kind of mid against Davey Grant. Who was the other? Tony Kelly. I mean, he KO'd him, but, like, he didn't look amazing for all of that fight from memory. He got his face jabbed off by Rob Font and finished in the first. Rob Font should not be finishing you unless you're on Cody Garbrandt chin level. Like, I think Yanez is chinny. I think he's like a shittier version of like a young lightweight Masvidal, but without the chin. Is my comparison. I think everyone was saying Yanez is like the new Masvidal, bro. Like, he's Masvidal but with no chin and slightly less skilled. I think he sucks. I think his jab defense is awful. I think Marcos has got a way wider variety of strikes that he can land. Uses kicks, uses like elbows, knees, all that shit. And he's also got good boxing. So maybe Yanez looks a bit crisper in the pocket, but he was looking even mid against fucking Vinicius Salvador, bro. Or Vinicius Oliveira, whatever the fuck the guy's name was. He looked mid in that fight. And that guy was a flyweight moving up to bantamweight as a plus 500 underdog in the Apex just to give this guy a layup. And he was looking kind of mid until he randomly KO'd him. But, like, I think Marcos is good, undefeated for a reason. He's actually fought good level of opposition too. Castaneda's not bad. He pieced up Castaneda in that fight and did really well. I don't think, unless he gets randomly chinned here, I think Marcos will do well. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we got the battle of the mids at light heavyweight. Justin Jacoby versus Vitor Petrino. It's kind of like mid-overrated fraud check prospect versus no chin average kickboxer guy. Like, and you can look at it and say, oh, maybe Jacoby's a good underdog because he arguably should have beat Roundtree. I'm like, yeah, but you can't be looking at potential robberies from like a few years ago. You got to look at how he's looking recently, and he's looking mid. Like, Reyes slept this dude in the first. Not the best look. Now, would Reyes beat Petrino? I do think so, but I think Petrino is not awful. Like, he has the potential to beat a lot of guys based on athleticism, but he fought Smith and randomly fucking shot a takedown and panicked and went in the gilly, fighting in front of his home crowd in Brazil, make dumb decisions, tried to pick him up, get a big slam, and just held him in midair while Anthony Smith latched up a gilly. Retarded ass fighter. He's dumb as fuck. Juice said all the roids are probably making his IQ lower. So he will win this, I think, though. He's got the finishing potential. I don't see Jacoby finishing him. Petrino doesn't seem like a guy who's chinny. He just seems like a guy who's dumb. But Jacoby's definitely chinny, and he's also weakness. He's susceptible to getting taken down as well. So, yeah, Menafield won if Menafield randomly catches you and KOs you, I don't hate it. But, like, Menafield was consistently dropping this dude in rounds, which is how we won that fight when they fought at UFC 296 is what they fought at. And he dropped him, like, in the first and third to win on damage. And Menafield sucks. Like, I think Petrino can do well here. Mixing takedowns. He subbed Prachnio, not a bad win. KO'd Bukowskis in the first. Like, that's actually a solid win there. So I'm going to pick Petrino via Roidhead athleticism. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. I'm picking Kape by finish. I think Bruno Silva's overrated as fuck. He's 34 as well. I think he's not even young in his career. Not even like he's at the age where it's like, oh, he's going to be making a bunch of rapid improvements. He fought Durden and got a comeback KO after looking awful on the feet. Like, it wasn't like Durden was out wrestling this dude, laying, praying him to this. Like, Durden was out striking this dude. And Durden just got tuned up by Josh Van. I know Van's very good, but like Durden was tuning this dude up, looking amazing on the feet, looking like a fucking elite striker. And then he randomly got chinned because Durden's a bit chinny, right? Bruno Silva does have power, but I think Kape's strength is counter striking, right? Like, Kape's reaction time is quick. He's a fast counter striker. He's got good counters. He's got good reactions again. Like, he'll catch you after you throw something. But against, like, in some of his other fights, he's looked mid when his opponents are also kind of trying to counter-strike and be patient because they're scared of his power. I think Bruno Silva will go for it a bit. Bruno Silva's very open to being hit. I think Kape will get the jabs going, start kicking his legs. Kape did do well against Felipe dos Santos. I think people just think he looked bad because Felipe was expected to die immediately. It's like, it's flyweight. You're not always going to KO someone straight away. But he still dropped Felipe dos Santos in that fight. But what else? Like, I don't know. Bruno Silva, I just don't think he's very good. Like, he's just mid as fuck. And he's not like he's some undefeated fighter that for the first time looked bad in his career against Cody Durden. Like, he's looked mid before. And I think Kape's just at a higher level. The Makayev fight was just shitty because it was like they didn't care and they just were too scared to throw anything and they were just tentative and did nothing. And so Kape was kind of waiting to be like, okay, can you throw something so I can hit you? And then Makayev just didn't because Makayev doesn't do damage to people. So yeah, I think Kape gets the win here, rebounds and probably calls for a title shot that he won't get. Anyway, let's move on though to the next fight, the co-main event. Next up, we got Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. I'm going to go with Billy Q. Swanson, I know he, is decent, alright? And it's weird because he lost to Hakeem Dawodu and won a robbery decision, but then I thought he beat Andre Fili. But Andre Fili has a habit of just looking mid sometimes in fights. He's probably one of the more inconsistent fighters of he can get a finish randomly against Lucas Almeida and then gets shinned by Dan Ige and looks mid against Swanson. I don't think Swanson's good, and again, I don't want to be picking 41-year-olds to win fights because you just feel dumb when they lose. So I think Billy Q can get back on track here. He needs to win. He's on a loss streak. He got finished by Yusuf Zalal last time out. But Zalal's good. That's not an awful look. He got KO'd by Barboza. That's fair. That'll happen to you. He got subbed by Zalal. But Zalal's good. Zalal's subbed everyone since coming back. Zalal would beat Swanson easily. So I think he can win here. Quarantillo, eke it out. It'll be close. It'll be a good fight. I think this will be fight of the night. And just do a little bit more output-wise, I'll say. I'm not confident in this pick. This was another one where I tossed up with the underdog call, but I will ultimately not pick the 38. I'll not pick the 41-year-old. I think Quarantillo's 36, but I'll rather 36 over 41 or something. Swanson also, I think, is his heart in it anymore? I don't know, but Billy Quarantillo, apparently he was injured going into the last fight. He's had good performances in the past. So, he did well and pushed the pace and then finished Alexander Hernandez. He's not a bad fighter. He's just kind of been getting caught recently and not looking the best. But I think he'll look good here, and I think he can get a decision win against Swanson in a fun fight. Let's move on, though, to the main event of the evening. Main event of the evening, Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm picking Buckley. He's going to smoke Colby Covington on Crip. I hate Colby. Fuck this guy. Cringe-ass personality. Not a real fucking individual. Doesn't have a single belief to fucking stand on. So he just listens to what everyone else says that popular opinion sides with and just tries to get support from that crew. Again, I don't hate the beliefs that he spurts out, but he doesn't fucking know any of them himself. He just yaps and chats shit because he has no real personality. Everyone said it. Every single fucking person who's met Colby in person with the cameras off have said he doesn't actually talk like that in person. He's just a little he's not that outlandish. He's a more shy dude who just doesn't want the smoke in person. And we've seen it. We've seen it with Usman. We've seen it with other fighters and shit. We've heard stories about it. I hate Colby. I think he's most the fucking fake fighter on the roster. Strickland, at least, I think, is just retarded and then just amps it up. I think Colby's just a fucking no-name, nothing bum with nothing to go for. nothing interesting about him, and he knows it, and so he's like, oh, what can I do to be interesting? Let me fucking put on this persona and act like I'm a fucking interesting person. I do not like this dude at all. It's not even like, oh, you're sore, you don't agree with what he's saying. I couldn't care less what he's saying. It's that he doesn't even know what the fuck he's saying. Like, he just chats shit. He writes down all these fucking lines, pre-written lines at the press conference at the media day, being like, haha, Bilal has a page on his ankle, I'm funny. Like, just dead jokes that you're pre-writing. Like, he's not good. He tries to do Chael and does it badly. And it's just cringe. So I fucking hate this guy. Buckley actually seems like a genuine fucking personality. Actually talks. Actually is entertaining. Actually fights entertainingly as well. Colby's not like a boring fighter, but like, he ain't finishing anyone, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, I hate Colby, if you haven't picked that up already. I'm doing a top 15 least favourite fighters list. This dude's up there. Maybe not number 1, maybe not number 2, but he's top 5. I fucking hate Colby. But Buckley's going to beat him. I'll stop talking about his personality, which sucks, and talk about the fight. Buckley's, I think he's just got all the counters and the answers to Colby. Like, I don't think Colby's not finishing this dude on the feet. He's not submitting him. Maybe you can say he takes him down a bunch and drowns him. I think Buckley's strong enough to defend takedowns. Like, Buckley's defended takedowns from middleweight. So you might say, okay, yeah, well, Colby's way better than Albert Duraev. But, like, Albert Duraev's a significantly bigger person than Colby Covington. Buckley's going to be way bigger than him. Buckley fought at middleweight. Colby could probably drain himself to make lightweight, if we're being honest. I think Buckley's going to beat him. I think Buckley's just way more dangerous on the feet. He's too overwhelming. We've seen it with Luque, who, yeah, Luque's kind of a bit washed, but he proved against Themba he's not a fucking Tony Ferguson level, like, shell of himself. He's still got talent. He's still got finishing potential. And Buckley kind of ran him over and just overwhelmed him and made him quit. Right? He beat fucking lanky-ass Uzbek dude, out-wrestled him. His wrestling's good. I wouldn't surprise him if he takes down Colby. Colby got taken down by Leon, bro. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Buckley just out-physicalities and is just too strong for Colby. And his cardio's not bad. You'd look at Buckley and think, oh, he's going to gas after 2. Colby can drown him late. I don't think he will. Colby's taken down fucking, like, Masvidal. Masvidal is not nearly the defensive wrestler of Joaquin Buckley. If you look at other guys, like, Colby's fucking looking kind of mid on the feet against Damian Maia. Like, just gonna say it. Like, he looks mid in a lot of his fights. He hasn't fought since the fucking Leon fight where he looked atrocious. If he fights tentative in any way, Leon fought tentative as well and still was able to beat him easily. If you fight tentative against Buckley, he's gonna fucking sleep you. Like, he's KO'd Wonderboy, he's got the aggression. Colby's gonna back up. Colby doesn't have the ability, in my opinion, to stand in the pocket and just grit down and take the shots of Buckley. Well, this Buckley can kind of just walk forward, fucking ignore Colby's shots and just beat him up on the feet. If he takes Colby down, he's gonna whoop his ass on the ground. He's gonna throw ground and pound, overwhelm him. And I think he can hurt him in multiple aspects, hurt him to the body, hurt him up top. Colby's chin's, I think, slightly gone. I think Masvidal might have rocked him or something when he punched, like, sucker punched him, done a bit to his chin, maybe, I'm not sure. Or maybe just, like, he might have, like, fucking dropped him or something, or given him a concussion, and then Colby just doesn't have his confidence. But, yeah, bro, this dude doing gambling streams and shit on Fight Week, like, I don't think he's fully there. I think he doesn't really care at this point. He's got his own thing going on. He's got his Trump glazing fucking non-existent personality occurring. And yeah, he's got his shit going, and I don't think he cares that much about fighting anymore. He ducked the Ian Gary fight. He's clearly scared of losing. Buckley's on a roll. He's already won 3 fights this year. Momentum's everything in the sport. I'm picking Buckley. Finish inside 4 rounds. I'll go the 3rd by TKO. Hurts him to the body. Hurts him to the body with a combo. Kind of just lands a big flurry, but Colby's kind of hurt, backs up against the cage. Buckley blast doubles, picks him up, slams him down, and just lands a sequence of ground and pound to get him out of there. So I'm going Buck via TKO. I hope he sleeps him. I want him to lay him out cold. That'd be amazing. But as I said, I will be live streaming, guys. That is the video done, though. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. Those are the picks recap on screen as well. But yeah, tune into The Fight Companion. I'll be live from the first fight as well, which some streamers aren't. And not naming any Guru. It's just Guru. I'm sorry. I like Guru, but come on, bro. Can't be rocking up 5 fights through the card, or what are you doing? But anyway, yeah, that'll do it, guys. I'll be back on after the fights to do a quick recap if enough notable shit happens. If not, We've got the fucking end of year awards and all that. I'll rank all the pay-per-views. I'll do an events tier list with every single event. I'll do all that stuff. KO of the year, fighter of the year, submission of the year. Got a whole bunch of videos. That's the blessing of the end of the year is, despite there being fucking no UFC anymore, it gives me an unlimited amount of content ideas to do, just recapping the year. So it'll be good. Stay tuned on the channel. But anyway, guys, that'll do it. See you in the next one. Peace out.